Okay, in this lesson, we're going to talk about constant rate of change. So in the previous lesson, we learned to graph proportional relationships. And if you recall, the change from one point to another was proportional, meaning the rate of change was constant. So let's go ahead and define that. So a rate of change I'm going to underline in blue, is a rate that describes how one quantity changes in relation to another. Okay, so let's take a look at a few examples so you have an understanding what this rate of change is all about. Okay, so in this problem, we've got a table that shows the amount of money a booster club makes washing cars for a fundraiser. So we need to use this information to find the constant rate of change in dollars per car. Okay, so the way to do this is to take a look at the number of cars that are being washed and see what the differences are going from one point to another. In other words, to go from 5 to 10, we're adding 5 cars. And to go from 10 to 15, we're adding another 5 cars. And then from 15 to 20, we're adding another 5 cars. Okay? So as you notice, the change is a constant of a 5. We're adding 5 every time. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. When there are 5 cars, it's $40. And to go from 5 cars to 10 cars, we go from $40 to $80. So that's plus 40. And then from 80 to 120, that's plus 40. And then from 120 to 160, that is plus 40. So what we see here is that we have a constant rate of change for the number of cars washed and how much is made. Okay, so to find the unit measure or the rate of change in dollars per car, we take the change in money. Okay, so I'm going to write this change in money, and we're going to divide that by the change in cars. Change in cars. And that's going to equal $40 over, and the change of cars is 5. Okay? And 40 divided by 5 is $8 per one car. Okay? So the unit change is $8 per car washed. So the number of dollars earned increases by $8 for every car. Okay, so there's also another way to find a constant rate of change, and that's to analyze points on a graph. So let's take a look at the next example. Okay, so the graph to the right represents the distance traveled while driving on a highway, and we are to find the constant rate of change. Okay, so to do this, we have to look at what the change in miles is. Change in miles divided by change in hours. Change in hours. So to find the change in hours, we need to take a look at the points that are plotted on the graph. Okay, so the change in hours go from 0 at the origin, and we go to 1. So that's the first one. And we will also go up on to the next point. Okay, and we see that the change here is going from 0 to 1. So the difference is a +1. And then if you take a look at the difference between here, we're going plus 60 miles. Okay, now we can continue to do this for the next point and see what is the change here. And we see that this is also a +1. Okay, and then going up to the next point, we see that this is a +60. Okay, and again, if we continue to the next point, we see that this is also a +1. And if we go from the previous point to the next one, we see that this is also a +60. Okay, so the constant rate of change would then be equal to 60, which is our change in miles, divided by the change in hours, which is 1. This is 1 hour, and the numerator is 60 miles. Okay, so therefore the answer is 60 miles per 1 hour, or 60 miles per hour. Okay, so that is how you determine constant rate of change by graphing. If you have any questions, or if you're not clear on what I just covered in the 2 examples, please go back to the beginning and re-listen to the recording. Thank you.